So hey folks, welcome back to another video with flyfishingwithjeff.com. I'm going to do a two-parter. This will be the first part. Obviously you're watching a real low-level beginners fly fishing pair of videos. Today I'm going to do some explaining of some equipment and show you a few things, and then I'm going to take you to a pond, a lake, not very far from here. It's a friend of mine, and I'm going to apply a few of those things. Now I'm not going to be doing casting lessons. There's some videos on my website for that. Of course, lots of others that have videos on fly casting. But I'm going to talk to you a lot about basics of fly fishing, starting right from the beginning. So if this is something that you know, that's the level that you're at, then continue to watch. If not, visit one of my other videos and we'll kind of go from there. But let me start off with this product. I'm a fair-haired guy who's out in the sun all the time, and I've had a rough go with the well, a few of the cancer spots and things like that. So I've got this product here that I found last year. It's called Bullfrog Water Sport. Let you take a look at that real quick. With Water Armor Tech Lotion, and kind of an odd thing to start off with, but boy, it's the first thing I do now is I lube up, and a lot of the other materials, lotions that I've used in the past just didn't work. They rubbed off, or they were oily, or they were greasy, or they were this and that, and this stuff is really good. Once you get it on, it stays on. It's not sticky, it's not oily, it's not greasy. So find yourself a bottle of that. I think it's some good stuff that will help you out a lot. Okay, let's start off right off the bat today talking about rods and fly fishing, because there's a lot of mystery that goes on, and it seems like it's kind of a magical thing, and it can be complicated, but we're going to try to simplify things for you a lot today. I've got here a 2-weight rod. Okay, this is an 8'6" 2-weight 2-piece rod. Okay, so here's the deal: the lower the number, the smaller the rod, the line, everything. So this is a 2-weight. They do make a 1-weight. They make a 0. 2 is the small as I go, and you can see it's a rather small reel, small line, small diameter on the rod itself. In fact, I've got this set up for the second video that you're going to see today when I fish the small lake for crappie and bass, bluegill, things of that nature. So this is a 2-weight, and you can see how it kind of all fits together. It's about the right size. Let's move up one level to a 6-weight. This is my 6-weight outfit. This is my St. Croix bank robber rod. I have a couple of these and just absolutely love them. And you can see this is a large arbor reel. This is a 9-foot rod. A little bigger reel, a little bigger line, a little bigger gauge on the rod itself, and you know, something about in the middle is a 5 or a 6-weight. Okay, and the last rod I'm going to show you, just so that you can kind of get an idea. This is my muskie setup, and this is a 12-weight Redington Predator rod. I love this rod. This is their big behemoth large arbor reel with a sink tip size 12 line, so you can see how it all kind of goes together. In fact, you wouldn't want to take and put this great big reel on this rod. They all kind of go together and they fit together. So I get lots of questions, and probably the number one question is, for me or my son or daughter or somebody who's just starting out, what size outfit do you recommend? Well, for me, I would say probably go with a 5 or a 6-weight. It's going to allow you to do all kinds of things. And in fact, I think in today's world, it's best to go ahead and find an outfit, a complete outfit that's got the rod, the reel, the line, even has a tippet, things like that, leader, tippet ready to go for you, and they all kind of match up. And again, don't spend a whole lot, because you don't know for sure that you're going to fall in love with this. You wouldn't go out and buy $2,000 golf clubs and then find out that you're not a very good golfer. Buy something relatively inexpensive. By that I mean in the $100 to $200 range for an outfit. Get your feet wet. From there you can move up. You can do a lot of things with that. Let me tell you a little bit. Go back to my 2-weight that I'm going to fish today. This is a 2-weight floating line. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit on top water, below the surface. Today I'll be fishing below the surface, but this is a floating line, meaning it's going to float, it's going to stay on the top. And then from the line itself to the fly is what we call our leader, and the last section is what we call our tippet. Now, as you'll see in the second video, I'm going to be fishing a little pond. The water's a little bit stained. Fishing for crappie, bass. They are not tippet shy. This isn't like I'm going to fish a mountain stream for brook trout or rainbow or brown or anything like that and the water's clear. My tippet is what connects to the fly, and so I would have to, if I were fishing for trout in what I call skinny or clear water, I would have to drop down to 3x, 4x, maybe 5x on the tippet, but not today. I think this is a 10-pound section down here because bass, crappie, bluegill, they're just not leader shy. They're going to go ahead and eat the fly. All right, so now let me talk to you a little bit about a couple of other things here. You're going to learn how to fly cast, probably not on the water. In fact, that would be my recommendation. And the best thing you can do for yourself if you're a beginner and you're just looking to start out, or maybe you've got an outfit and you haven't really got going on it yet, is please, by all means, get a lesson. If you were a golfer, you would go get a lesson. You would have somebody show you how to hold a club, stance, grip, swing, get you started so that you could be functional. And the same thing goes for fly fishing. You need a lesson, okay? Now, I'm not talking about the guy at the bait shop that's got a fly rod and he's been out twice. I'm talking about somebody that can actually help you with hauling, your arm motion, angles, the concept of fly fishing and fly casting itself. If you check out my website, flyfishingwithjeff.com, you'll see that I do casting lessons, and I think they're relatively cheap. It's 90 minutes for the first lesson for $40, and every successive lesson after that is $40 for a 60-minute lesson. Okay, so you can contact me, or you can meet me somewhere, but you can find somebody in your area if you search out that will be able to help you and give you a lesson. Okay, so practice, go to a park, practice, learn how to cast, learn how to make short casts. Again, I'm not going to do a casting lesson. I have several of those on my YouTube or on my website itself. But once we get to the water, how are we going to fish? There's going to be one of a couple of things to do. You're either going to wade fish, you're going to get in the water, or you're going to walk around the edge. Okay, or I guess the third case, which is what I'm going to talk to you about today, is something like a boat or a float tube. Okay, so you're going to get to the water. Now, you can spend a lot of money on waders, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit here in a minute about waders, but my recommendation would be, if it's the summer, start by wet wading. By that means no waders. Okay, you can buy yourself a little cheap set of neoprene booties. These are Sims, they don't cost very much, and wading sandals. Or you could go in a pair of old tennis shoes as far as that goes. Okay, got to be careful because the rocks and stuff like that are slick. That's why the sandals or some things like that are a little bit better. Here's my favorite. I wear this pair of knee-length wading socks. These are made by Corkers, and they are my favorite ones. They're easy to get on and easy to get off, and if you've never had a pair on at the end of a day and you're tired, it's hard to get these off sometimes. Corkers are really nice. And I put these inside just a plain pair of lightweight wading boots, and you can see these have studs on the bottom of them so that I'm safe while I'm wading, while I'm walking. And that's how I wet wade. Okay? Now, let's talk about waders themselves. There's going to be two kinds of waders. The cheaper of the two is what we call neoprene. Okay? And let me show you the neoprene here. It's pretty simple. This is a 5mm pair of neoprene, and they also make a 3mm pair of neoprene. You can get these under $100. This is a socking foot pair of neoprene waders, meaning they're going to go inside the boot, and that would be my recommendation. They make a pair that has a boot already attached. Those are kind of big and clunky, more for hunting. I don't think that's something you want. But again, this is a great, cheap way to start if you are going to get in the water and wade, or if you're going to do some float tubing. This is the way to go as well. The other type of wader is going to be what we call breathable. All right, and again, this is a socking foot type wader, going to go inside the boot, and these are lightweight, breathable. They're not as warm as the neoprene, but they are comfortable. You can wear these in warmer weather, and these are your more expensive. And heck, you can spend all the way up to $500–600 easily on a pair of breathable waders, but you don't have to. This is a pair from Cabela's, mid $150, $200 range. I've had them for years, and they last a very long time. Okay. Last thing is wading boots. Now, if I'm wearing waders, either the neoprene or the breathables, I've got a good pair of wading boots. In fact, I usually buy the Sims version. This is about a $200 pair of boots. Again, got studs on the bottom. It's hard to replace the stability of a good Sims wading boot. And the last thing you want to do is be out there in a trout stream or someplace wading and have stability issues. Going down is no fun, and if you've not went down, you haven't fished long enough, because you will at some point in time go down. So let me talk to you about a couple of other things. When you get to the stream, how are you going to carry your gear? If you're a bait fisherman, a spin caster, you've got a boat, you're going to have a tackle box and you're going to take it all with you. Let me tell you, when you leave on a down hike, stream fishing, fly fishing, wading situation, and maybe you're going several miles, sometimes I do 7 or 8 miles in a day, you've got to have it on you. You're not going to find a Walmart, and you're not going to 3 miles in all of a sudden figure out you've left your glasses back at the truck. You need to have all that. So one of the things I like is a lanyard. Okay, I carry a few lanyards, and these might look gaudy and confusing, but they're not, because I usually try to put flies of the same ilk, so to speak, smallmouth flies, crayfish flies, largemouth bass flies. I've got, well, I can't say literally hundreds of fly patches with different patterns, topwater stuff on, things for largemouth bass, things for bluegill, things for trout. And I simply take one off, put one on. In fact, I have different patches for different parts of the country. If I'm up in Missouri, up in Wisconsin fishing for smallmouth, I have some patches. If I'm in Missouri fishing for smallmouth, I have some different patches, because locally the flies you need are a little bit different. So I love this situation. You can carry all your gear real quickly. You can even clip your glasses on here, so when you need them, you just put them up. But this is a great system, easy, not expensive. You can even make your own, and it's a good way to organize and carry all your stuff. And the other system, of course, well, there's lots of systems, but you've got fanny packs and waist packs and chest packs and all those kinds of things. I'm not a great big fan of those, but I do when I trout fish. If you watched any of my Bennett Spring videos, I carry this guy. It's got my daily tag, it's got my net with a quick release on there, all ready to go. Lots of pockets for other reels. Again, when you leave, you need to have that with you and have the availability to get anything you need very quickly. So that's another option as far as when you get to a stream or a lake or a pond, and how you're going to fish for it. And lastly, let me step over here real quickly. As I said, you're going to, once you get to the stream, you are going to either wade, and that gives you the room to back cast, or you're going to walk around the edge. And walking around the edge is really tough to do when you're fly fishing. There's always back casting trouble. The other option is a float tube. This is the prototypical looking float tube Right now this one is made by the Creek Company. I'm not sure that I can tell you a whole lot about the Creek Company right now. I've been using their product for a long time, but it seems like to me it's a little bit shaky here about the 1st of April in 2020. I do know they have the lightweight ultralight model that they've been trying to sell anywhere $125 to $150 or so. Much like this, is going to make a nice tube. I love this tube. If you were around in the old days of the belly boats, it was basically a rubber inner tube with a jock strap. Very, very tough to fish out of. If you got a hole in it, you were probably going down. These are very stable. I've got my kick fins in here that can really move me around. I even have little neoprene booties here. These are, excuse me, these are diving boots, underwater diving boots that I put up over my waders so that I walk to and from the water and not tear my wading, the bottom of my wading stocking feet, waders, excuse me, up, tear them up. Got my life jacket in here, got plenty of pockets. You can float anywhere in this kind of thing, a still water type situation. If you're going down a river or creek, you probably want to move up to the bigger float boat. Some of you have watched my videos, you've seen me in the blue float boat. That's called the Voyager. It's made by Creek Company. I love that boat. Again, I don't know if they're making or processing it right now, but that would be the difference between the two. So I've thrown a lot of information at you, okay? And from here, we're going to take a little drive over to my friend's lake or pond. I think the difference between the two is depth, so we'll just call it a pond. And I'm going to go through some things with you, catch some crappie, catch some bass, talk to you a little bit about casting, not a casting lesson, but casting, strip setting, how to land a fish. So I hope you've gotten some good out of this. If you have questions, again, email me at my website at flyfishingwithjeff.com. If you like the video, hit the like button. If you think differently, that's fine. Just keep it to yourself, because frankly, I hear back from a lot of people around the country, and everybody's got their own different version of things. This is my version. It doesn't have to be the right version, but I'm trying to give you some basic information here so that you can jump into and get started. But I'll be more than happy to field any of your questions via email, and I try to get back quickly. Try to answer ethically and responsibly to your questions, and we'll do so when you get a hold of me. So let's take a little journey here, a little drive, and let's show up at the pond, catch some fish, and have a great day.